Hi everybody, it's Rick and Judy.
Hey, talking to you about gracious living, answering questions.
Today we have another question. It's from Christy from Missouri. This is also one of my subscribers from my blog, The Beautiful Grace Notes. And she writes that, she says, I'd love to hear about forgiveness and how to forgive someone who really hurt you. And I think we both have had this situation. Probably everybody has had this situation. But I know how it can be hard sometimes, and it can really bother you. I know it.
It can be hard and hard to let go of, especially the Christian wants to do the right thing, wants to forgive, and they find it keeps sticking to them sometimes, and then they realize that they have it. And sometimes it just brings a lingering hurt. It can bring depression. I mean, depending on the depth of the hurt. The first thing is we don't want to put the pressure on the person. See, people are trying to do the right thing and they struggle with it because they're trying to do it, and so the answer comes down to, first of all, there's always the first things first, is that I would recommend that you put more focus on, more study, more talking to God about His love and forgiveness for you. And that's really where the power of that comes from, is knowing that you're completely forgiving of all past, present, and future sins. There's no debt that you owe to God, therefore you don't need to go collect debts from anybody else. God loves you with no conditions. And when we have that kind of love that's been received, we have that kind of love to give. He that has received mercy has mercy to give. And so it comes from God. It doesn't come from our strength. Forgiveness is not a command to say, if you don't forgive, you'll never have this and that and the other. Forgiveness is something that God freely gave us and empowers us with, frees us with. He freed us with that forgiveness. And something about knowing that, knowing how loved and free you are, makes you feel big enough to just do it. And you can look on those that hurt you as not someone who's a big monster or powerful force or some kind of poison in your life. You look at them as someone who needs help, who needs some mercy, obviously, who needs some forgiveness, or else they wouldn't act the way they do. They need to know the same love that we all need to know, and sometimes the first place they find it is in people like you and me. So there again, the essence is not, we don't recommend people just try harder to forgive. We recommend that you actually let go of that and just put your focus on that, put your attention on that, and let God reveal that to you. However slow or fast it might happen, just enjoy that revelation, enjoy that relationship with the one who holds nothing against you.
I think that's the very center point.
It is.
Is marinating in God's love for you and His value for you, His treasure of you. And as you do that, that forgiveness for another person will eventually just happen. It won't be you trying, it won't be hard. You've had that experience, haven't you? I know I have. I had someone very close to me really cause some major harm in my life, and they never really apologized for it. They never took ownership of what they did. They defended themselves. And when I became a Christian, I really thought, I forgave them. God forgave me. I'll forgive them. But things would happen in my life that would just bother me, like, if this person had just not done this, these things wouldn't happen. And so I would kind of go through this, thinking I'd forgiven him and then feeling that, ugh. And even at one point came to the conclusion that if that person just apologized to me, if they had just owned it, then I would be free of this angst and everything would be good. And truly, I actually did strong arm an apology from
so
this person.
Back them into a corner.
And made them apologize to me. And so I got the apology, but it didn't make me feel much better. And I guess what I learned along the way was, as I really kind of grew in knowing God, in really knowing his heart towards me, that he wasn't holding my mistakes against me, even my current mistakes, then I began to fill with this love for me and for others. It was a natural thing. It wasn't a concentrated focus like, oh, I'm going to forgive that person, I'm going to do this with this. It was just like I found myself loving people. And even this person, I felt especially desiring of blessing them, of not wanting something from them, of just wanting to be good to them because of knowing how
God's love changes us.
Yeah.
And it helps us to be bigger, it helps us to be more of the blessers instead of those who need something from these people.
Yeah.
And we can care more about them better. We understand that they really don't know what they're doing. That's how Jesus died so gracefully on that cross. He said, forgive them, they don't know what they've done. Mm-hmm. And I remember praying about somebody that I need to forgive, and I said, oh, they don't know. And then I thought, yes, they do. They're selfish, they're stingy, they're greedy, and they may have had all of those qualities, but in that condition, they still don't know what they're doing. They think they're doing the best they can for them. And humanity does that until they realize how cared for by God they are. They feel like they're on their own, so they're going to do what they think is best for them, even if it means hurting you and me. But understanding goes a long way. All that comes with growth in the relationship that comes from knowing that God loves you. And the relationship is what does it.
I think so.
It's not just the head knowledge of God loving you.
Yeah.
It's through that knowledge that you can enjoy God, enjoy the relationship. And that's what we want you and everyone to do, is to enjoy this relationship, no matter what you may be dealing with right now. Enjoy it. Enjoy the walk. And, if you don't get the instant fix and the instant relief from that, still enjoy the fact that God's loving you and showing you things and teaching you things. The change happens from the inside out.
Well, thank you, Christy. We hope this helps. We appreciate your question. Anybody else who has a question, please feel free to ask. If you have something that you want to share, or a forgiveness story that you think would be encouraging to Christy or to anyone who's reading, we really recommend that you put your comments under where we post this video, and that way we can be encouragement to many. Yeah. So thanks for joining us today, and
have a good day.
Bye-bye.